Why, oh why, anxiety? You've been my buddy my whole life. Now you're starting to run the show. Stop it. That's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to be discussing why the faulty anxiety signals occur in our brain and how you're going to retrain them. We also need to distinguish what is real anxiety and what is false. Anxiety is a natural response to stress and danger, and it can be beneficial, well, in small doses. But when anxiety comes and it's excessive, it starts to interfere with our daily life. In fact, faulty anxiety signals can cause us to feel anxious for just no real danger, and that didn't make sense. This can lead to a range of problems, including panic attacks, phobias, and OCD. I mean, we need our anxiety. It's designed to keep us safe. It is an alarm system that alerts us when we are in danger. It says, protect. We actually are in danger. Do something about it. Without anxiety, we'd be prone to be making so many mistakes in our life, and we just wouldn't be aware of the potential threats. For example, imagine you're walking down that dark alley at night. You see multiple people. They're all like, hey, come on down here. You see knives in their hand. Are you gonna go down there? Probably not. You know why? Because anxiety kicks in and tells you, you are in danger. I wouldn't do that if I were you. It's prompting you to be more aware of your surroundings. This heightened anxiety awareness can help you prevent potential threats. Yay, that's what we want it for. But anxiety just sitting on my couch having a thought? No, that's not what it's for. Let's fix that. So it's important to remember that anxiety is not always a bad thing, only when it becomes excessive and it starts to interfere with your daily life. Sometimes anxiety can backfire. It throws off way too many false signals. Our brain perceives a threat or a possible threat, and it's not actually happening. These false anxiety signals can be triggered by a range of different things. Obviously, some past traumatic events can bring this on, negative thought patterns, or just other mental health issues such as OCD. But why does it happen? Some people have it, other people don't. Well, in short, they happen because our brains are wired to keep us safe, and sometimes they overreact, whether it's genetics that have changed the structure of this brain, or it's these life experiences, or both. But those who have not even had any trauma in their life can have the same thing. It's almost like this filter in the brain is saying, man, I'm gonna let all these thoughts in here, and they might be dangerous, they might not, but I'm not willing to take the risk. Do something about it. I'm gonna make you feel anxious. This is risky. Don't do it. You think about all the things you're anxious about. Are they things you know for sure? Or are they things that could possibly happen, but I'm not sure? It's all the uncertainties. What if? That's usually what it is. It's the what ifs. So we get good at being okay with the what ifs. You think about an anxious child who's 2 years old. Most of the time, they haven't even experienced any trauma. They haven't really even had many life experiences, yet their brain is telling them that they're potentially in danger. Have you ever seen this before? They don't want to leave their mom. They want to talk to people. They don't want to do all these things that some other kids can do. You can just physically see they are anxious, they are nervous. Why them and not somebody else? It goes to show how strong the brain can be, just faulty on its own. But it's not your fault. It's just doing a really bad job at trying to keep you safe. But no matter what, this is what we're gonna do. We use something called exposure and response prevention therapy. It is so effective in retraining our brains to distinguish real and false anxiety signals. Exposure and response prevention is a type of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's used to treat anxiety disorders, and we use it for OCD as well. The goal of this therapy is to help individuals confront their fears and their anxieties in really a controlled environment, so they can learn to overcome them. The first step in exposure and response prevention therapy is to identify the triggers that cause the anxiety. I often have people write those all down. It's either through self-reflection, you're just thinking about it, or you're writing them down as they come throughout the day. Once all these triggers have been identified, the individual gradually exposes themselves to it. Sounds scary, right? For example, if someone has the fear of flying, they can't just get on an airplane whenever they want and face this fear. That might be step 100 of 100. Instead, they're probably starting looking at pictures of planes, writing down the word plane, and really identifying what is the actual fear. Because that's the important part. Maybe it's not really about flying. It's about being stuck in a place that you have no control over. It's important to identify what is the actual fear, because that's what we want to expose to. Let's put ourselves in positions where you could possibly be stuck and confined and you can't get out anywhere. The idea is, can I sit with this uncomfortable feeling long enough, respond to it in a way that I just really kind of don't care? Sure. I love it. I'm so glad that my arms are tied down like this. This is great. I hope I sit like this forever. Man, love this feeling. This is so great. Love it. Love it. We also got to make sure people aren't doing the compulsions during the exposure. For example, someone with OCD may be encouraged to resist the urge to wash their hands, after they touch a doorknob. They're responding as if just they do not care. What they're not doing, touching the door handle as an exposure and in the back of their head, okay, I know in 5 minutes I get a wash. Okay, yeah, I gotta go wash. They're not problem solving how they're gonna fix this thing. They're willing to be uncertain. Maybe they're rubbing their hands, whatever they feel like they need to do to say, I do not care. You're saying, I'm not reacting to you anymore. And this is how I need to do it. And it feels wrong and it feels risky, but I gotta do it. And people tend to go to everything else first. Let me try this over here. Let me try acupuncture. Let me do this. Hypnosis, all that, microdosing, and then they do exposures at the end. It's like, how much time did you waste to get to the therapy that worked? If you are curious how to do exposures the right way, I've got a link down in the description that shows you exactly what you can do, step by step. So in short, anxiety is lying to you when you're not actually in danger. But of course, we don't know the future. We can't predict what's gonna happen, but that is okay. For someone to retrain their brain, they've decided it is worth taking the risk and not doing the compulsion. So here you go. Make a list of all the anxiety threats that come to your mind. Rank them from 0 to 10. How much do they scare you? You then write down all the responses you're gonna have to these. What can I tell my brain that I do not care? Here's how to know when you're really in danger, when you can see it. Let's stop reacting to the ones we can't see. We face all of these things until that anxiety has dropped and you move on. It's gonna come back 5 minutes later, possibly. We do it again. Come back 5 minutes later, we do it again. Teach your brain you don't care. Face your fears. If it's not slapping you in the face of how obvious there's a problem, we're probably just going to take the risk that the faulty alarm system is happening. Whew, that was quite the journey. Anxiety no longer needs to control you. Let me know what things you feel anxious about down in the comments. And go watch this other video right here if you want to learn more tips about anxiety. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.